The story begins with a cargo manifest and a silence that should never have been possible. In the late 19th century, King Leopold II of Belgium owned a private empire in the Congo, a vast jungle-clad territory turned into a rubber extraction machine. The violence was hidden behind official paperwork, private concessions, and a polite veil of philanthropy. Yet somewhere in the middle of London docks, a young shipping clerk named Edward David Morel noticed a pattern that did not add up. Morel worked for a Liverpool firm that handled trade with the Congo Free State. He watched the manifests come and go. Ships sailed to Africa brimming with rifles, gunpowder, chains, and military supplies. They returned not with cargoes of goods, but with coffins, rubber, ivory, and the occasional human being who had not met the king's quotas. Morel's trained eyes saw not trade, but an economy built on coercion. Weapons outward, raw extraction inward. The paperwork whispered what the Congo could not speak for itself. Confronted with the scale of the discrepancy, Morel did something extraordinary. He quit his job. That resignation was not a retreat. It was the first deliberate step toward a public argument that would become impossible for governments and newspapers to ignore. He became a journalist, an investigator, and against a world that preferred polite ignorance, the moral conscience of a global movement. Morel's method was radical for its time. He collected evidence with the tenacity of a detective. He interviewed survivors, sailors, and missionaries. He obtained letters, receipts, and images smuggled out of the Congo. He sifted through government and company documents, reconstructing the flow of goods and the arithmetic of brutality. His finding: Leopoldo's colonial system was not benign exploration or benign philanthropy. It was a system of organized pillage enforced by terror. But evidence alone would not topple an empire of silence. Morel understood the power of story and spectacle. He founded what would become the world's first modern international non-governmental organization, the Congo Reform Association. Rather than relying solely on private lobbying, he built a public campaign. He wrote relentless articles, edited pamphlets, and published detailed exposés that stripped euphemism from policy. He pioneered what we now recognize as the toolkit of modern advocacy: targeted media campaigns, petitions, and appeals to conscience. Visual persuasion became central. Morel toured Britain and the United States, showing slideshows of photographs taken by missionaries and former officials, images of emaciated children, severed hands, and ruined villages. These were not distant, abstract statistics. They were faces and bodies that forced spectators to look. He enlisted the support of influential figures, writers, politicians, and celebrities of the day, turning private indignation into public pressure. Joseph Conrad and Mark Twain lent their voices. Liberal politicians and evangelical leaders echoed the call for reform. The campaign was relentless and surprisingly modern. Newspapers serialized Morel's findings. Lectures packed halls. Public petitions gathered momentum. The Congo Reform Association transcended national borders, coordinating efforts across Europe and North America in a pre-internet world. The cumulative effect was to expose a king's secret as an international scandal. Confronted by mounting evidence and public outrage, Belgium could not maintain the fiction of a purely philanthropic sovereign forever. In 1908, the Belgian government annexed the Congo Free State, stripping Leopold of personal control. It was hardly a perfect resolution. The colonial system would continue under different management, but it marked a watershed. A private tyrant's secrecy had been pierced by organized, humane protest. Edward de Morel did not live to see the full arc of decolonization, but he proved a timeless lesson. Systems of violence thrive in darkness and paperwork, but they falter under scrutiny, narrative, and solidarity. He showed that a single concerned clerk could become the architect of an international movement, and that modern advocacy combining hard evidence, compelling imagery, and public pressure could force a powerful state to act. The Congo's tragedy remained complex and unresolved, yet Morel's campaign established a blueprint for humanitarian activism that endures to this day.